Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have an interesting video here. This time working on a 2007 Audi RS4, 4.2 liters. This computer was sent to me from a shop in, let me just read the information, in Georgia. It's Solo Motorsports. The concern they have is it loses ground to fuel pump when hot. A little hard to reproduce here. I have actually, as you can see, I got my hot air station right there. I've been applying hot air to the computer everywhere. Try to, put them a little toasty. It's still hot to the touch, not to a risky level. I have a thermal camera or a thermocouple that I can attach, that is a thermocouple right here, so I can put it on the computer and then that will read me the temperature that I am right now. But that's not a problem as long as you can feel with your hands and it's not super hot. You'll be okay if you want to do a test like this. Okay, so things that I want to share. I'm saying I'm doing. Um, this is connections, powers, grounds. This computer has two connectors. It's a T94, 94 pins, and a T60. All the tests that I need are in the T94, including the fuel pump signal because this car has a fuel pump module. So let me go over to wire diagrams. Lucky for me, I did found the original, and this is an Identifix. Identifix has some, not all. I've been finding this lately. I don't know if they're removing information or what they're doing that because I mean, if you're offering and selling information, you're a site for software and wire diagrams. So I mean, not software, repair information and wire diagrams, and you don't have all. Mm, I mean, their price is very high. It's very expensive, and they're using our input as technicians to sell their site because Identifix is supposed to be very good because they got real repair information. Well, that real repair information comes from us technicians. Not It's not that they have gathered that and pay anybody to get that. So they actually stole that information by letting us technicians respond to the question, and now they're selling that information like if it was theirs. And that's one thing that I'm, very hesitant to respond to. And now any I don't know, requests of like, Can you help us with this? Can you help us with that? Well, how much am I going to get paid? Because I mean, they're making millions of dollars. So, but yeah, that's another topic for another video. All right, going back to this, um, we have here. Let me get this a little bigger. All right, so the J538 fuel pump control module right here. And then the J623 engine control module. This vehicle has two engine computers as far as I see in all the information. But you see the pin 27, T9427 comes down to pin 5 on this fuel pump module. Then we have a constant ground for those that are not familiar with the tracks. These are called tracks wire diagrams. This line in here means ground. And then anything that needs to be powered, it goes to like in here, this S is 228, it's a 30 amp fuse, right? Is the one supplying power to this fuel pump module because these pins 1 and 2 that goes to track 303, and I'm going to show you in a second, goes directly to the fuel pump. So this fuel pump module is in control of the fuel pump. The computer sends a signal to control the pulse width of that depends on the actual acceleration, right? So under more acceleration, more fuel pressure, otherwise it's a constant uh, reading. But yeah, if we go over right here, you see we are in tracks. If we follow this line to what it says 303, this is track 27 and this is track 26. So we will find that on the page where it contains 303. All right, so let's go down to 303. I'm going to move quickly so we can go into 303. A little more. Just trying to scroll down so we don't get here forever. 303 should be in the next page. All right, so 303, we have it right here. So you see 303, why they put them both? Because that's how they create it here. So if we see what G6 is, or we want to know what G6 is, it's right here on the information on the side. So G6 is transfer pump. They call that is a fuel pump on the tank because this is a GDI engine. So this will supply fuel to the high pressure pumps and then over to the GDI system, right? So we have this in here. It says the G is the fuel level sensor. So this is the fuel level sensor. So you see pins 26 and 27 are coming from that fuel pump module, which I think it was in page 3. Should I have read that for, oh yeah, you see I actually put my nose in here. I should have read that. You see I said it says on page 23, so I should have just go there. But yeah, that's an easy way for me to put my nose and find it. But yeah, so when he or they refer about the fuel pump loosens its ground, um, I will suspect that instead of the ECM because the ECM is just sending a signal, a pulse width modulated signal, which is how much is going to be interpreted by this little module in here to modulate or, put 60%, 50%, 30%, 100%, depends on the demand of the fuel. All right, so pinouts, I have, as I said, gathered all information from multiple sites. I give this to program in, the easiest to find a connector, and they are correct. So I was able to get all the powers and grounds in here. Pin 27, fuel pump control module. And this, make sure that you read here, you see ECM1 T94, because if I go over to TCM2, I'm going to scroll down a little faster. This is still TCM1. Now this is TCM, or sorry, ECM2. So if we go to ECM2 pin 27, pin 27 from 8 to 35 are not being used. So the one that has a signal going over to the computer is ECM1. And that's how I find all this information. Hard to see or to understand the diagrams a little bit on here as far as communication because the instrument cluster is the one gateway for this vehicle, and it has the convenience CAN bus, the infotainment CAN bus, as you can see. And if I scroll down to the next connector, it has also the powertrain CAN bus. You see right here, powertrain CAN bus, and it has also CAN bus display, and it has the K wire. The K wire, if we go over to, let me see if I have this one here. Now let's go over to Identifix. I was actually looking into something else that I want to show you here. Okay, let me go over to bookmarks. High speed. That's probably if I go better if I go over to the color wire diagrams, computer data lines, because you see an error here, and this is the problem why I don't like to use color wire diagrams because you see they're talking about pin 6 and pin 14 going into high-low bus circuit. Not very helpful, right? Pin 7, the K line, right? If we see here, engine control module S4, it says T121. What about the RS4? Because this is for the S4. This computer doesn't have a 121 pin connector. The S4 does because it has transmission control module and engine control module is a different model. So this is wrong for this vehicle. Looking at the CAN bus, or because this has high and low bus in the color wire diagrams, I was able to find a little bit because if I follow here, you see we have engine control, transmission control module, so T121, and then the transmission control module, and then engine control module 1 and 2. So this is what we're working with. So I follow the wires and I can see that those go over to, let me just see, yeah, the instrument cluster over these two pins. And the DLC is also here in 6 and 14, so I knew which one are pin 14 and pin 6. Weirdly, or for what I have been using, because I was scratching these two in here, you can use either one, because I was looking at a weird signal. They're the same, as you can see, they're kind of like jumping information in between the two on the two computers. But this does not talk um, without the instrument cluster. I'm not able to communicate with my scanner here. So this does have to have translation because it will take the CAN bus and it will just allow the scanner to talk on the K line for diagnostics. And as you can see right now, I am using Picoscope 7, and I have right now connected the scanner, even though it's not doing anything, but it's connected. You see the messages are all in blue, and I'm going to show you something very interesting. So when you have, like in my case, very simple, I want to know which one is the scanner or which one is the um, ECM, right? So as you can see right now, the IDs are showing as ECM in a scanner. I'm like, okay, how did I did that? I've been taking classes with Gary Smith and also through Picoscope, YouTube, which is very helpful. They're putting very good information, and I recommend this is why I have this video. Gary Smith for I think that's his name. Let me just make sure. I think it's. Let me just go back to the beginning because I want to give kudos to the ones it deserves. Thank you again for joining us. We're looking at CAN communication on this vehicle. We did what I'm about to do in a previous video. I don't know, they didn't put his name in here. The video because Cove. I want to say his name because I always take his classes, but I take so many classes for so many people that sometimes it's hard. He's good, and I am following this. So if you want to know more, look into this video, CAN Diagnostics and Reverse Engineer with Picoscope 7. Very, very helpful. And this is how I come to this. So what he shows in this video is to go here over to, and I can, attach. Let me see if I grab this and I put it here back. No, I cannot do it because I already separated. So all I did, it was to put that on the side, and that is as I have it. So when you decode the CAN bus, this will be on the bottom. All you can do is grab that same CAN bus and it will separate it and open it in a new window like that here. Now you got two different windows. You can click on the link right here on the chain, right? And this will do create a template. I already have it. So what I do is since I already have it, let me get you that. So I created a template with that file, sorry, desktop, and this is the file. So this creates a template with nothing on it but the headers, which is what you need. And with just a computer connected, I saw that we only have two messages, 105, ID 105 and ID 109. And when I have the scanner connected, I have more messages, 107, 10B and 10D. And then I put the ID description as ECM, ECM, scanner, scanner. And that's why after I did that, so I saved the file, right? Okay, I save the file and I click the same chain in there and I use open and that will now put the names as I have it in here. I can prove that that is actually truth. This is not running right now because the order signal you see here is green. That is the fuel pump signal. But let me just show you this because this is also interesting. And I know that a lot of you guys are trying to decode, and some people will tell you, oh, this is not important. You don't have to do that. I disagree completely with that. I am 100% disagree with that because when you are in a car, if you can decode your vehicle and immediately see that the messages that has all the errors are the ECM, well, guess where you're going to be focusing? The ECM, right? So I don't know why manufacturers don't give this to us because I guess a lot of manufacturer teams and mechanics, we are dumb and we're not. We are diagnosticians. We are really smart. So please don't take us as granted because we can do more than what you think and we're actually doing it. But yeah, so what I have right now, even though the scanner cannot communicate, is here because if we see the acknowledgement, there is no acknowledgement. So the scanner is there, it's okay. The messages are fine, but there is no acknowledgement being. So that's why it's zero. If I remove the scanner, which I can do either by removing, let me just think of what I'm going to do. Yep, I can just remove that from here. You'll see that now it goes into red because now I have acknowledgement beat because the computer is there, but all the messages are incorrect. And the reason is why? Because there is nobody's answering really, right? So if we open or zoom in here, and this is how I can show you. Actually, that's too much. Let me just go back, keep it small because I don't need that much of detail. If you go over to where just the image is, it will be too much. But you see the ID is right at the beginning. So if I click on any of these ones, it will take me over to that. You see, ID 105 is now called ECM. 105, 105. I know there is going to be, I think it's 109 too. And as you can see, I'm scrolling, let me scroll to the top. All these ones are 105. If you're right here, 109, you see? I click on this one, it's a 109. So now the scanner is removed from the equation, but the 109 is there, and I have proved disconnected this completely is the same thing. So as soon as I now plug the scanner in, because the reason I didn't unplug it from there is because otherwise I would have to completely get back to connection and everything. So the scanner is still sending the signal and nobody has responded because there is no acknowledgement for the scanner because the computer is not expecting to talk to the scanner, diagnostic scanner, this way. So now you see I have more messages. More messages are now called a scanner, and some messages are like random in there, which is probably either one of them trying. Well, in this case, I don't think it's either one of them because remember, since there is no communication, all these 121, 23, and so on, there will be still the scanner trying to get an answer from somebody. And yep, that is not happening. And again, if I click OK, OK, come on up, skip. And I go over to because until you completely remove the scanner from here, it will still be there. We can see that in blue. If I try to go over to OBD, and actually, you know what? Let me break the communication. 1 second, guys. All right, so I disconnected the scanner in there, and now we got all in red. And if I stop this right here, we're going to see that everything on the buffer, because again, it's the current buffer, all the messages all the way to the bottom. Oh, there's some that says a scanner, so I got that wrong. Let me see which one is this. I did 10D. Okay, so 10D is actually ECM. Let me just make sure that I run this because maybe I stopped it when the scanner was still connected. All right, so let me just do this right. I stop it and let's make sure. Yeah, there's nothing else in here. You see, there is the all the messages are ECM. There is no messages in here whatsoever that says anything but ECM. I'm going to run it again. Yes, there is nothing all as ECM. Well, like, oh, maybe I got something wrong, but it's not. So what I want to do now is plug this back in. All right, it's plugged back in. Now the scanner is since lost communication. Now the PCI is trying to power up again, which should be almost up by now. Let me put this in here so we can see that. It's just still saying top down, and until that it says no communication. It hasn't powered up. Okay, there is no communication. Now I have the oscilloscope running, and it's still we got the same, only ECM. If I stop this and I go all the way down, we can see that we got nothing but ECM because the scanner is not sending any signals, right? So you haven't gone to a menu or any menu that requests the scanner to establish a communication. All right, so what I want to do is now go into OBD. So I'm going to try to establish communication with different protocols, because this will try to talk into K line or anything and see if that changes. You see, immediately we got already blue, red, blue, red, blue, red, because it's trying different communication. The first one was CAN bus. You see, now it's in red because it's no longer talking in CAN bus. And this is very important. I walk a little, like a little backward, so you guys can see that is in blue because the scanner is trying to talk in CAN bus. Any other communication in here is going to fail. There is no way to talk to this computer either on CAN bus or K-line because this is OBD2. This will try to communicate on all the protocols, right? And it's not happening. You see, it fell. But we saw at first, so we're just going to cancel that it went to blue. And that's why when I come here, I try to communicate. Even though it fails, the scanner will keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying to establish communication, and it will stay there. As soon as it goes after this, it will like sending signals, sending like somebody there, somebody there, somebody there, somebody there. See, it already knows there is no communication. Somebody there, somebody there, somebody there. Trying again, we can see the red, red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. And then as soon as it goes into no communication, it keeps trying. Now the scanner is in communication mode, even though it's not talking to nobody, but is there. And you see, that's how now I know what my scanner for this vehicle, and I'm going to try to do this with multiple cars to see what IDs are for one or other vehicles to see if like it's very unique, because there's a lot of guys are saying, oh yeah, don't even waste your time because it's going to be specific for each car. I would like to see this in another Audi SR4 and see if this works the same, because I don't understand how a computer will have, millions and millions of IDs to just decode the same vehicle, year. Why would you change the same vehicle year? I don't see, uh, that as something realistic. But again, the proof is in the pudding, and I want to do it myself for you guys as well. And this is how you can do that. But yeah, so we have no communication. We have no communication. That's not going to change. But the signal for the fuel pump is here. So this is just ignition on, and we are getting a signal going over to the fuel pump module. Oops, I should have not did that. Oh, and I forgot to say this is CAN bus, B minus A because of the way I have it connected, but you can do A minus B. All right, so I'm just going to put a cursor in here, and we can see that we have around 3.6 volts. And that bottom of that signal is pretty much ground. So 0 to 3.6 volts. Is it this good or not? I will suspect it is because of his concern of being just with the engine hot. Again, what I did, and very careful, because if you see there, this will go up to 860 or 840 degrees Fahrenheit. Why do I do that? Well, look at the size of that nozzle, right? This is not a heat gun that has a very big nozzle, so I can go very focused. This is the actual fuel pump driver for that module, the pulse width modulated signal. So I can go here, and I want you guys to focus onto there. I'm applying air in here, and you can see that that green signal is not going anywhere. It's not changing on amplitude. Nothing is happening. So I will suspect that that is definitely not the case. Again, I have to be very careful because I guess, that puts a lot of temperature. But also, I have the computer in the case, so this will act as a heat sink. It will dissipate the temperature really quickly, and that's how it's done in the vehicle. That's why this needs to be attached or into something that air can flow to dissipate heat. But yeah, that's not the case. All right, so let me skip this because another test that I wanted to show you is, okay, now with the computer off, I want to remove this from the equation. Also, as you can see, I have also provide 120 ohm resistor because the computer has 120 ohms. and it should work even without that decay bags in there. So the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to remove my oscilloscope leads from here. Everything that I have connected to this line, so no matter what, the only one that I wanted to check now is continuity on the actual fuel pump signal, so I can get that green. All I need to do is connect either of my leads on the multimeter. Let me do that 1 second. All right, remove everything in here. Then the only thing that we still have here connected is the actual fuel pump signal. So I want to get this into continuity test. And sometimes the light is too bright for the camera. So okay, let me make sure this bips. And if I remember, it's gotta be somewhere here. Mm-hmm. All right, you guys can see that and hear that beep. Okay, we have continuity here, right to zero, so that's completely shorted, so that means it's exactly the pin, and then the pin goes here. Let me just find it. All right, so right here, and that is the pin exactly. So that is the driver for that signal, the modulated signal that goes over to the fuel pump. This is a very strong, very good drivers. That is a smart driver. I already checked it with a curve tracer and I cannot seem to find anything wrong here. So I'm gonna have to contact the shop and find out exactly what kind of test they did and where and go from there. But as far as the tests and everything that I want to share, guys, today, this is it. Thank you so much, guys, for visiting the channel. I know that sometimes I go abroad in information and everything. I try to share a lot. That's what I do. There is some people that wants to gather more information. They have to understand that this is a business. I try to share some of the testings that I do on the computers and everything, but I cannot give all the secret results out. So please understand that. But I also try to share and show that the tests that I perform. So you guys, if you are learning, you can use those for yourself. All right, guys, thank you so much for visiting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.